So you want to fly the Mirage, right? But every post that you see or research on the forums in reference to the module tells you it can't compete against Fox 3s. If you want to use the Mirage online, you're better off not using it at all. Or you need to fly really, really low, hug the hills, turn your radar off, and pray that no one sees you and get into a merge if you're lucky. And with someone who likes the Mirage or wants to fly it or take it online, all this can be very discouraging. So you think, well, there's no point, there's nothing I can do. Well, in actuality, there is. It may be a plane with a short range Fox 1, but like with most things in real life, there are tactics that are employed to make a plane effective. And that's what we're going to go over today. So in my spare time when I'm not playing DCS, I like to research tactics about planes and aircraft that may be at a technological disadvantage. And this is what I've come up with in reference to the Mirage. The first thing is getting a shot off at R max, which I would say is about 20 miles or so. This does one of two things. One, we know the missile will not hit. It's a max range shot. It's a spoof. But what it does is it makes the opponent fire back and return fire, because most people want to put out a shot to counter the one that you take. Now in this scenario, I'm going up against the AI just to give you an understanding of what that looks like. Now, in reference to the AMRAM, I set a MAR, or minimum abort range, for the AMRAM at about 10 miles, 10 or 12 give or take. So my goal with firing our max shot is to get the bandit to return fire above that distance. And I know that above 10 miles, 12 miles, that if an AMRAM is fired, I can defeat it. And the way I defeat it is by pulling it and cranking to one side and dragging it down into thicker air, if you want to say, and just holding it there. And then once I believe it's gotten close enough or to relative distance, I reverse my turn to the opposite side, pull, and then I climb. The missile just spent all of its time diving down to the thicker air to intercept, and with a crossover to the opposite side and a climb, it can't track above 10 miles at least. And now you're left with a bandit that is either cold or going to be cold or turning into a Super 530 to the face. Now, the reason this works well is because you're giving yourself a chance to re-engage after the first shot, initial shot of the AMRAM, by getting it to be fired above a range in which you can still safely evade it. And I find that this actually works very well. Now, if the AMRAM is fired below that range, I find that it's best to abort, reset, and go cold. So the second tactic that I found to be effective is a quick notch of the bandit to temporarily make the bandit lose any kind of lock or track that it has, decreasing the bandit's situational awareness. Now, you don't have to be a notch expert to do this. Just put the bandit on your 3-9 line, maybe decrease your altitude about 10,000 feet relative to the bandit, just to make them lose track. You know the AMRAM is a Fox 3, which is a good medium range missile, and you're going to be outclassed at distance. So some may say, well, what can I do to close the distance? You notch. And what this does is now you're at the 20-mile range, which may still be our max, but this does one of two things. It catches the bandit off guard, which guarantees that they will return fire outside of an effective range of the AMRAM. And then once that occurs, you can then avoid the missile kinematically because they're firing it at a range in which you're still able to do so. So you force the bandit defensive and you get the first shot. Or in another situation, you get the first shot, the bandit fumbles with their radar, and they don't get a return shot, and now you can press the bandit. I find that this is also very effective. Now, some of you may say, well, Sequoia, this is great and all, this is against the AI. Well, I obviously need to provide some kind of evidence to show you that it works, right? Or else this is just talking into the wind. So Here are a couple clips that will reinforce what I've said here. So for the sake of recording, I'm going to turn the volume all the way down so you all can hear me loud and clear. I know I've been having some issues with the mic. But in this video, I'm going up against a hornet. And I tried the second tactic that I showed in the tac view. I get the hornet's altitude, I get the hornet's bearing or heading, and then I think, okay, we need to close the distance. I do a quick hard turn, beam the bandit, notch the bandit, whichever you want to say, and this will hopefully break the bandit's track. Now, I can determine if it worked or not based on the RWR. You want to give it a sec to see, does the bandit disappear from the RWR? Does the track get broken? And if it does, you're good. If not, that doesn't necessarily mean that the bandit is still tracking you. That just means there's a radar point in your direction, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being seen. So I turn back into the hornet, and I'm fumbling with the radar here. It's not showing me what I need to see, and I'm thinking, all right, this guy's getting closer. I haven't found him yet. I'm losing time. So what I do is I end up finding him at the last minute. He's closer, but I don't quite think I have the element of surprise here because he's marking me on the RWR. So I do a quick break back into the notch to disrupt any lock that he may have. And I know that I probably took too long to do this, and now I have an AMRAAM coming at me. But I also know that this missile was fired outside of 10 miles. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to drag it out, stay in the notch or beam, and then I'll turn back in when I believe I've been defensive long enough. And the missile's still coming. At this point, it's already defeated. But I take an extra step to crank, change my elevation in a 3D plane, and just work the missile. And at this point, I know I've defeated the missile based on the movement on my RWR, and I press the bandit. That first clip was something else, huh? Well, in this second clip, I'm going up against an F-16. Same tactic. I get the F-16's altitude and I make sure the heading is correct before I perform this maneuver. And as you will see, like I said in the second tac view, when you perform the maneuver properly, the bandit may return fire outside of their best or effective range to get a higher probability of kill, or the bandit may just go cold because you caught him by surprise. And in this clip, you're going to see what happens when the latter occurs and you catch a bandit by surprise. Hard brake turn, rapid and quick and precise, so that you can break the lock if there is one. You don't want it to be too slow, it has to be quick. And I look at the RWR. Does the bandit disappear or does he stay? Once I can confirm that, I make my move. Now, in this situation, I don't believe the bandit disappeared, but I didn't care in that sense because I figured I'm pretty sure this worked. I'm not getting a hard track. Let's see what happens. And I pick up the bandit. I get the first shot. Everything is going according to plan here. The bandit, I believe, is outside of 10 miles still at this point, and now I'm just waiting for return fire. I'm waiting, and I'm successful. No return fire. This bandit is more than likely defensive. I can press him. I've won this fight. If he wants to re-engage, he's going to get a 530 to the face, and it's going to be over. But what I want this to reinforce is the fact that there are tactics that can be used in the Mirage. I think DCS has devolved into a game of who has the best missiles, what's the meta, let's balance things out. But it's not about balance in a simulation. It's about using what you have and creating tactics to overcome what puts you at a disadvantage. And that's what people do. That's what countries do that have planes that don't have Fox 3s. You have to find a way to work with what you have. And I hope this video teaches you all that, or those of you who actually want to fly the Mirage. And now enjoy this dogfight. That was another pretty good dogfight, huh? Hope you enjoyed it. So now, in this clip, I am flying, just looking at my radar, and I notice that I get a spike from an F-14. Now, you know the F-14 carries the AIM-54 Phoenix, and this is definitely not something you want to compete against above, or I would say under maybe 20, 15 miles. Not sure. I don't give myself a chance to find out. So I noticed the F-14. I start off by getting some information that will help me formulate a tactic in my head. I do a quick beam notch to break track. You know the routine here. And then I wait. I observe my RWR and I drop some chaff just in case a missile is coming my way. Turn back into the bandit, and like I stated before, either the bandit will react and fire at you, or you'll catch him off guard. 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch him out of you off guard. And you crank and wait, and you return fire. No, you press the bandit. Now, I will say, if there is a situation where a bandit returns fire, the way I can tell if it's under 10 miles or above is when I get the active tone. So let's say the bandit's at 12 miles and I get an active tone before it hits 10. I know it was fired above 10 miles. I know I'm good to go. I can effectively dodge it. Now let's say I get a tone at 8 miles. That missile is probably fired at 10, 11 miles. I need to notch, drop chaff, go cold, hard brake, turn away from the missile, and get out of that engagement. I've pretty much lost it. So with this comes a lot of situational awareness, understanding your plane, understanding what you're fighting against, and then using that to your advantage. And so the last clip of this video, same scenario. I actually don't have any 530s, I believe. I believe I'm down to magic, so I was actually returning the base here. Same scenario, got a F-16, hard, break into the notch, disrupt any kind of radar track, situational awareness the bandit may have. Float in that notch beam until I feel comfortable enough to return or turn hot towards the bandit. And in this scenario, once again, the tactic works. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you do this efficiently, the bandit will have no idea where you are. Now, in a scenario where the bandit does pick you back up and it's maybe 10 miles away, 11 miles away, you need to go cold. I know DCS has kind of gotten to a point where everybody wants to kind of get a kill. And, you know, they want to come back with a nice scoreboard. You know, it's just, if you want to play realistically and you want to fly within a certain margin, you have to understand that, hey, I lost this engagement. I need to get out of here. Especially if you don't have a wingman to cover you while you go cold or they go hot. And I will say, based on my experience in the Mirage flying solo, in one-on-one engagements, this plane shines. I mean, if you can catch a bandit off guard or get the first shot and force them to fire outside of their effective weapons employment zone, you can do really well. And if you can make it to the work merge, you can do even better. So the Mirage is definitely usable in a Fox 3 environment, honestly. So don't let what you see online deter you from using it. And just understand that it all comes down to the pilot, and it's a matter of tactics. I know AMRAMs are cool. You know, the Fox 3s, they're shiny. They do all these wonderful things. But, I mean, it's not the end-all, be-all. If you really want to shine an aircraft, just think. And it will get you farther than slinging AMRAMs. I'll also do another video on situational awareness in the Mirage and how to compete, what altitude to optimally fly at, especially when you go up against data links and whatnot. You really have to pay attention to your situational awareness and your RWR, your radar. The Mirage requires a lot of the pilot. I mean, you have to maneuver your radar. You look at different altitudes. Look at your RWR. You notice the contact was there within 10 miles. Now they disappeared. Don't continue to fly straight. Go cold. Things like that. I'll probably work on that next. I'm going to be pretty busy soon, so the videos are probably going to stop, to be honest. So I just want to drop something for the Mirage pilots out there who maybe feel as if they can't compete, when in all actuality, you can. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this was better. Hope it's helpful, and have a good one.